To some people, nothing beats the thrill of hurtling down a giant water slide and getting battered by its many twists and turns. However, even the bravest of the brave will have cold feet when faced with the engineering monstrosities we have today. The Scorpion's Tail. Engineering firm. Whitewater West has been the brains behind many thrilling water park attractions. The Scorpion's Tail is just one of them, but this one probably holds a special place in its designer's heart, and with good reason. It is the first and only looping water slide in the US. Correction, make that the first looping and only water slide in the US that actually works. This looming monstrosity drops you from 10 stories high and sends you zooming down a 400-foot tube. The loop is 27 feet tall and bends at 60 degrees. With no seats, no straps, and not even a measly floater, riders will have to go through the entirety of this loop. You also get sprayed with water throughout the ride, keeping you slippery as you fly around for 9-14 seconds. Of course, not everyone can generate the required speed to finish the loop, which happens to around 1% of all riders. If this happens, you will slip back to the start of the loop with your head bowed in shame. Miraculously, there have been no serious injuries on the slide, but still, it takes guts to try it. The Sahara Sidewinders. The Kalahari Resort's website describes the Sahara Sidewinders this way: a water slide that lets riders experience high speeds and extreme thrills as a tube launches down dark tunnels, gathering momentum before rocketing into a tight curve around massive saucer openings. Sounds exciting, but they did skip one crucial detail: the possibility of hurting yourself. This dangerous water slide has caused a lot of injuries to people, allegedly, most of which were not reported to authorities. However, one high-profile incident caught the public's attention, which caused negative publicity for the resort. In 2012, a family sued Kalahari Resorts for allegedly injuring a young boy while riding the Sahara Sidewinder. Although the report did not mention what kind of injuries the boy suffered, it did say that management was aware of the risks due to past incidents. And to make matters worse, resort management didn't do anything to improve the water slide's safety. The lawsuit proved effective as Kalahari Resorts were forced to shut the water slide down permanently. Shoot the Rapids. Cedar Point Water Park in Sandusky, Ohio, may claim to be the best amusement park in the world, but that argument can be shot down on so many different levels it borders on the ridiculous, especially after a horrific accident occurred in one of its main attractions. Riders were on board. Shoot the Rapids in July 2013, when the boat they were sitting in suddenly rolled backward, 187 feet down the lift track. It hit the edge of a concrete flume before colliding with another boat. It then flipped over, trapping the riders upside down underwater. If it weren't for the quick action of park employees and bystanders, the situation could have devolved into something more tragic. The accident happened because two of the water slide's safety features failed, one designed to keep the boats from sliding backward, and the other to keep them on the track. It was bashed for its horrible design, with most saying it was dangerous and faulty. Some even thought it was a massive waste of space. Even so, the attraction wasn't shut down until 2016. For some reason, fans of Cedar Point weren't sad to see it go. I wonder why. The Cannonball Loop. We can all agree that it's a fact that everything in the universe abides by the laws of physics, right? Well, tell that to the person who designed the Cannonball Loop. This abomination of a water slide expected riders to do a full loop at the end of the slide. Now finishing the loop is not impossible if the rider travels fast enough. What was impossible was coming out at the end of it completely unscathed. During its testing phase, riders had to be hosed down to improve their chances of coming out of the end. How they came out was always a toss-up. To give them credit, they did try it out on dummies first, but the fact that they came out with broken or missing limbs did not deter them from moving on to human testing. As expected, no one wanted to ride the thing. So much so that Action Park had to pay its employees $100 to test the water slide. And as sure as the sun rises, most of whom come out of it with injuries. The slip and slide. Admit it, you never saw this coming. While the iconic slip and slide may be one of the most fun things inside a kid's toy box, it is also one of the most dangerous. So, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, those guys who check whether something you bought can potentially kill you, conducted a study, and to put it simply, the results are surprising. They found out that grown-ups and big kids who use the slip and slide, especially if they're super excited, could smack into it and suddenly stop in a way that might mess up their spinal cord. In short, one afternoon of fun and frolic can lead to someone ending up paralyzed from the waist down, or worse, from the neck down. You'd think that the folks who make the slip and slide, whammo, would have read this report and made design changes to make it safer. But guess what? Nope, they haven't changed a thing. To keep the long story short, if you weigh more than 125 pounds, you have no business slipping and sliding. Insano. Let me get this out of the way. No one has died on Insano, nor has anyone been seriously injured by it. But why is it on this list? Well, because it is so damn tall. It is almost as tall as a 14-story building and hurls riders down a nearly vertical drop at 65 miles an hour. This water slide is literally not for the faint of heart. Seriously, the forces this attraction subjects its riders with can lead to a heart attack. When it was built in 1989, this 135-foot-tall monster of a water slide was the tallest in the world until the turn of the century, when it was ousted from its seat by Rio de Janeiro's 193-foot Kilimanjaro. Still, Insano is nevertheless an imposing structure and is currently the tallest freestanding body slide on Earth. With that said, it is also one of the most radical and potentially dangerous water slides bar none. If all this still doesn't scare you, then hop on a plane and fly to Beach Park in Brazil, the country's largest aquatic park. The Steamer Slide. The Steamer. It is a water slide that has been described as a giant toilet bowl. And while many will find that depiction hilarious, it is no laughing matter. It stands in Calypso Water Park in Canada and is its most notorious attraction. Okay, so here's how this slide goes. Riders sit on an inflatable rubber tube and circle a colossal funnel before gliding into an exit slide. The only challenge? Making sure your rubber tube stays upright until you reach the exit. While that doesn't sound dangerous at all, the facts say otherwise. In 2015, Calypso Water Park was ordered by Ontario authorities to pay $500,000 in fines and damages. Apparently, the ride caused grave neck and back injuries to its riders. What's even worse was they were never reported. Some were. One previous visitor wrote on TripAdvisor that the tube she and her husband were riding on suddenly flipped due to a strong gush of water, resulting in her breaking her collarbone and her husband suffering a concussion. And how did the park compensate for their injuries? They were given free passes to the water park, and to add insult to injury, the passes expired 2 months after the two were injured. The Veru. Now, while all the water slides I've covered thus far are dangerous, at least they have never killed anyone, yet. The same cannot be said for the Veru, located in Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City. The park wanted the tallest water slide in the world, so they built this 170-foot-tall atrocity. By the way, Veru means crazy in Germany, so the name is pretty much spot on. Anyway, while the park did indeed break records with the Veru, it also became ground zero for the worst tragedy in water park history. 10-year-old boy Caleb Schwab got on the ride and was decapitated after his raft caught air and his head struck a pole. According to The Independent, state attorneys brought criminal charges against the park. The charges were, however, thrown out by a judge, stating that evidence against the park was improper. The family did get a $20 million settlement from the park and the people involved in its design. The deadly waterslide was permanently shut down and dismantled in 2018, a full 2 years after causing the death of an innocent child. See you guys next time.